Welcome back to our CEO.CA community. My name is Amrit Gill, and we are in Toronto, Canada for PDAC, the world's premier mineral exploration and mining convention. Joining me now is Anil Varich, Executive Vice President and Director of Steppe Gold. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
How's the convention been so far for you?
It's I'm almost exhausting, but it's been very busy, and we're on the final leg here, so it's I'm happy to see the horizon here of not stop talking in meetings, but it's been fantastic. Very busy, good vibe, which is good. Finally, what we need in our market. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Steppe Gold.
Sure. So Steppe Gold is a gold and silver producer in Mongolia. We're listed on the main board of the Toronto Stock Exchange. We listed in May 2018 as the only main board mining IPO in 2018. 2020, we started production for the first time ever. Our heap leach operation, so our phase one, what we call our phase one operation. It's a heap leach that will produce for another 2 years, probably around 45 to 50,000 ounces this year. Same for next year at about $850 all in cost. In the meantime, we're actually expanding into our sulfides below, starting for about 40 meters from surface. And that'll be another additional 12 years of mine life at over 100,000 ounces per annum at $850 all in cost.
So tell our viewers a little bit about your background, what you bring to the table and the team around you.
Sure. So myself, I'm not technical. I'm a banker by background. So I worked at the Dundee Group of companies and an advisory for a better part of a decade. In 2017, I was able to start Steppe Gold. So I'm a co-founder of the company with my partners Bata Timur Osher, who's in Mongolia, who's our CEO, and our executive chairman, Matt Wood, who's actually an exploration geologist. Bata and Matt have worked in Mongolia since 2009, have previously built another company called Hunu Coal, and they sold that company in 2011 for $500 million cash. So we have a track record in country. We know the country. We're very local. So we have a very solid team, very local team. We have 300 employees in country. 99% of them are Mongolian.
You mentioned the life of mine. Could you provide our viewers a few more details regarding that?
Sure. So in 2011, we announced our feasibility study. It was about 10 and a half years of mine life at just about 100,000 ounces per annum. Just last week, we updated that feasibility study, added another 1.5 years. So we have 12 years after the oxide mine is complete at over 100,000 ounces. So it's pretty significant. In fact, we've actually drilled below this feasibility study, everything included in the feasibility study, have new discoveries and extensions. So in all likelihood, it's going to look like a 15 to 20 year life of mine by the time you bring it online in about 2 years time.
And you are operating in Mongolia. What's it like operating in that jurisdiction, and how does it compare?
Well, listen, I haven't operated myself in Canada, but I can tell you the government's very supportive. We've had a 2-term government, major majority, very stable, pro-mining, pro-foreign investment, pro-Steppe Gold. In fact, the government has given us capital to grow. So you have a supportive government. There's no violence, there's no terrorism. There has been no changes in tax regime, royalty regime. So you have a very supportive government. In fact, I would arguably say it's easier to do business there than some other jurisdictions that are tier 1 or considered tier 1 or non-emerging markets.
And prior to this, we were discussing, you do have some news that's fresh off the press, some acquisition news.
Yeah. So just yesterday, we announced the acquisition of Anacortes Mining. That's a 2.5 million ounce deposit in Peru. So it's a very similar approach and deposit to what we have in Mongolia. It's oxides at surface, about 400,000 plus oxides, plus 200,000 plus leachable sulfides, with 1.9 million ounces of sulfides below that. So it's a 2.5, it doubles our resource. It's in another mining jurisdiction that's actually tier 1, so it's not an emerging market. Peru is dependent on mining like Mongolia is. It's a fantastic asset that we can actually spend some time and money on over the next couple of years while building phase 2, and then we can go build this mine in once phase 2 is up and running. So sequentially, it works very well to bring that production online after we built our expansion. So it will bring us to about 200,000 ounces probably of production. So it's fantastic.
Are you able to elaborate on the plan to list with the Hong Kong exchange and the opportunities and costs associated with that?
Sure. So we are an Asian producer today. In Hong Kong, there's about 7 or 8 producers that are listed. So now we become one of less than 10 on the Hong Kong exchange as an Asian producer. Here on the TSX, we'll continue to be listed, but we are one of hundreds. At least in Hong Kong, there's a lot more visibility. There's not many comps, and those comps do trade at much higher valuations than we trade at on the TSX. We also have a lot of Asian support. I think about 40% of our investor base comes from Asia today. So it makes a lot of sense from liquidity, valuation, and given where we're currently producing, it allows more access to Asian investors to get into our story.
Yeah, what further plans do you have for phase 2 expansion?
Right now, in the next couple of months, we just need to get the capital lined up. So we have debt plus maybe some debt-like instruments that will fund the majority of the capex, the remaining capex for phase 2. So that'll be announced, I'd say, by the end of Q2 latest, I would say. That allows us to build the rest of phase 2 that hasn't been completed over the next 18 months and bring that online in 2025. So phase 2 will keep growing. Like I said, we think it's well beyond 12 years of mine life, but we'll continue to chip away at construction in the meantime.
And Anil, what sets Steppe Gold apart from the competition?
Good question. I would say a few things. One is we've done it before. Our team has executed not only in Mongolia, but globally. We've built companies and sold companies around the world. 2 is we've actually done it. We've said we'll build a mine, we built a mine. There's very few companies that actually get to build a mine. We built a mine, brought it online in the toughest of conditions. So Mongolia was closed for 2 years during COVID. You couldn't get in the country if you tried. And so for us being local, 99% of our staff in country, we were able to bring production online for the first time ever with a local team, 100% local team. So that's huge to being local, that you don't have to rely on expats to run your business. We are very local, so that's a very important one is, and the second is we're aggressive in a good way. We do things like we say we'll do. We build things and we grow, and we've done all that.
Well, we started this conversation off with the energy and the engagement that we see here at PDAC. What is your team hoping to achieve while at this convention?
Listen, the energy is definitely quite good this year at PDAC, and that's why we actually were able to get this transaction announced yesterday morning to get more feedback live from investors, from prospective investors, and it's all been positive. So people realize smaller companies need to consolidate. Those who can build mines should build more mines, and we're doing all of that.
Is there any other message that you'd like to share with potential investors and those at CEO.CA?
Sure. Well, all I can say is we are a producer. We're generating cash flow. We haven't raised equity for over 2.5 years. Our management and board own about 20% of the company. I've never sold a share, so we are highly aligned with our investors, and I think that's very important. We're building a business alongside our investors.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Anil. I hope you enjoy the rest of the convention.
Thank you.